Good afternoon, friends. How are you? Hope you're doing well. Come on in, take your shoes off. Let's prepare dinner. What are we making? Today we are making spaghetti squash. Spaghetti with spaghetti squash. So, I was so excited yesterday when I went to my little grocery store and they had a couple of spaghetti squashes. Now this one's a small one, but you know, I'm trying to learn to cook for two. So, just cut it in half. Sometimes they're hard to get through, so sometimes I will throw them in the microwave, pierce them with a fork like you would a baked potato, and just a couple of minutes to get them soft. And then they're just like a pumpkin. They've got seeds in the middle. I left the seeds in this one to show you. And you just go in there, and I just try to get the seeds and not get too much of that squash, because that's the delicious part. You don't want to waste it. So I just kind of go around with a spoon, just like when you're carving a pumpkin, and just try to get the seeds only. And leave all of those strands. Have you ever had spaghetti squash? If you haven't, I think it's delicious, but I love all squashes. So to me, I think it's delicious, and we love it with a meat sauce. I probably enjoy it more than, well, I know I do. I enjoy it more than regular pasta noodles because I'm not a big pasta fan. So I like it better. So I love fall. I love squash season. So I picked this baby up. This should be plenty for Brock and I to have for dinner tonight. All right. Get those seeds off of there. Come on. This one's full. So I'm going to go and I'll come back so you don't have to sit and watch me do this. As entertaining as I am. Squash is in, trivet. I'm doing this in my pressure cooker, and I've added 1 cup of water to the bottom. So there we go, trivet. The squash. In it goes. Put the lid on. Make sure it's sealed. Sealed, S-E-A-L-E-D, sealed. Sometimes my accent, we all know. Anyway, we're going to turn it on, pressure cook, and this squash is really small. Normally, if it was a big one, I would do about 7 minutes. With this one, I'm going to do 5, high pressure. That's it. Now, I've cooked these in the oven. My hair, well, I don't know what's going on. Anyway, I look a little lockjawed there. Anyway, I've cooked these in the microwave. I've cooked them in the oven, and I've cooked them in the pressure cooker. Pressure cooker is my favorite way to do it. Like I said, throw it in. You can forget about it while it's cooking. I can do my sauce. Now you can put it in the oven. I don't remember how long. It takes a lot longer. So I would say probably 350, maybe for 30 minutes. I honestly, I don't know. You could probably Google it and look it up and see actually how long it's going to take in the oven if that's the way you want to do it. And like I said, I've even done it in the microwave. And I would have to look all that up because I don't remember how long it takes in the microwave either. Okay, so I'm going to clean up this. This is going, and let's make our easy meat sauce to go with it. All right, be right back. Okay, so while our spaghetti squash is squashing in the Instant Pot, we're going to make the meat sauce. Simple, homemade meat sauce. We're going to know exactly what's in it. It's easy. You can customize it. You don't have to put 8,000 ingredients in it to make it taste good. So inside of my pot here, we're going to do 1 pan. Because y'all know how I hate to dirty up dishes. We got our ground beef. This is about, I think it's a pound and a quarter. I think it's a little over a pound of ground beef that we have butchered. I've got some leftover onions from the burgers yesterday. And as always, if you don't want onions, don't put them in. It's not a big deal. Don't like it? Don't do it. All right. So, do you have an Instant Pot? And if so, my Aunt Carla, she has one. She's never used it. And I was with her. We had lunch the other day and had such a good time. And I told her, I said, get that baby out of the box, because when I first got mine, I didn't use mine for a long time either. I didn't really know how it worked, or it didn't make sense to me. And then when I started using it and experimenting with it, I was like, oh, this thing's fabulous, especially when I was working a lot more hours. It was so quick. Corn on the cob is one of my favorite things to cook in there. I did a seafood boil in it one time. That was delicious. And I had that recipe. If you want to go back to my recipes and find that. I'm pretty sure I did it. I love to do mashed potatoes in it because, like, for holidays, I'll do the mashed potatoes in it, and then the warm feature keeps the potatoes warm throughout dinner. Wonderful. So let me know what you like to cook in yours. I've done brisket, of course, beef, roast, chicken, you know, all the usuals. So I know some people do pasta in it. I don't know if I've ever done pasta in it. So let me know. I know people do eggs and they do yogurt. So let me know what you, if you have one, what you make in yours. I would really love to know. And maybe I could, you know, get some new tips from y'all, because y'all give good tips. All right, so I've got some diced onion I'm going to add to the ground beef. We're going to salt and pepper. Right now, that's it. And of course, we're going to cook it till it's done. That's what my dad used to say. I would say, how long, Dad? How long do I need to cook this? And he'd say, cook it till it's done. So I'm going to continue the tradition and say, cook it till it's done. It's going to be dusty today. The farmers are out taking the beans off in the field behind us. So I always hate that. So dusty. Anyway, it has to be done. So I'm going to make up a salad. Brock finished off what we had in the fridge. So inside of here, I've got some leaf lettuce, and I'm going to add some romaine to it. I like to mix the two. Nothing better than leaf lettuce. Oh, my mama would grow it in her garden. She'd go out and pick some, bring it in, wilt it. Ooh, I need to make some wilted lettuce. Yummy. You ever had wilted lettuce? Some people call it kilt lettuce. We called it wilted. All right, so there's our salad. I don't have much to put in it. I mean, I don't really think you need a whole lot. I've got a cucumber here. Now I buy the, when I put cucumber in, I buy the seedless, the English cucumbers. They're not technically seedless, but the seeds are finer and smaller. I fare better with that with diverticulitis. And I chop it up small. And then, oh, friends, I want to show you these tomatoes. Oh, wee, that hamburger and onion smells good. I just think that's the most wonderful smell in the world. And I don't know if it's from my childhood, but I just think hamburger and onions cooking together is such a wonderful scent. But anyway, my dad, when he would cook it, hamburger and onions, he would take a little piece of white bread, put some on there, and eat it, and he'd give me a little sandwich too. It's just like the most delicious thing in the world. Okay, our squash is done. So I'm going to do a quick release. Now I like to pull this away from my cabinet. I'm going to move my little witch too. I don't want her to get steamed up. And then I just always do this. And there she goes. All right. Turn down the ground beef. It's almost done. So 5 minutes on the squash. It takes some time to come up to temp before it does its process. I'm thinking 7, 8, 10 minutes. We're about got this meal halfway done. So we started our salad while all of this was going. The ground beef is almost done, so I turned it down a little bit so I can drain that grease off of there. I mean, I should have waited to show you this. Look at these gorgeous tomatoes. So Elena's family sent these to us. Elena is Mason's fiance. Sent us these tomatoes. You might hear Lola snorting. Hello, Lola. My little dog hog. All right, we're gonna chop up these. Oh, they're so gorgeous. Listen, y'all like tomato sandwiches? Is that like a Appalachian hillbilly thing, or is that a universal thing? The tomato sandwiches, you get a good slice of tomato with some salt on a piece of bread with some mayonnaise. Oh, nothing better than a fresh tomato sandwich. Oh my goodness. Let me know. I know some of you live, well, all of you live all over the world. So, let me know. Have you ever had a garden fresh tomato sandwich? I've even made tomato salad. Have you had tomato salad with the saltine crackers and the mayonnaise? I know that's a hillbilly thing. All right, look at that gorgeous. Oh, so gorgeous. I'm not a big tomato eater, but a fresh garden tomato gets me every single time. Ooh, look at that gorgeousness. All right, I'm gonna clean this up. And then we're gonna get on with the rest of making our sauce. I'll be back. Ground beef and onions are done. I'm leaving those there. I'm gonna drain the grease in just a moment, but I've got the squash out of the pressure cooker. And the trick is you've gotta let it sit. You've gotta let it cool down for a little bit so it doesn't get mushy. Now I like mine a little bit more al dente, so you know, I think 5 minutes for this small one was perfect because we're gonna also heat it back up this evening for dinner. So we're just gonna push that off to the side. The salad is ready. We're gonna cover it. I'll be right back and put it in the fridge. All right, salad's in the fridge. I'm gonna drain the grease and then we're gonna make a simple and easy marinara meat sauce, okay? Be right back. Had to have a shot of Diet Coke. Listen, I know. I've tried to stop. Ooh, I love my Diet Coke. I have cut way back. Honestly, truly, I have cut way back. But just something about a crisp Diet Coke. Anyway, let's get back to the meat sauce. Drained the grease. My burger's here. I left about a tablespoon of that hamburger grease in the pan. You can probably hear it sizzling. So, you know, why not? That ain't gonna fit. So, instead of adding some olive oil or some avocado oil, just use the natural hamburger grease. If you don't want to, take it out. Add you some olive oil or avocado oil. Garlic, if you want. Put that in. Put the lid on. Always put the lid on because Brock always says that's an accident waiting to happen whenever you leave the lid off. Usually he's right because I end up probably eventually knocking something over. Okay, so we're going to give that a toss. Give it a second. We don't want it to burn. And I'm probably going to regret not putting an apron on, but this is tomato sauce, 29 ounces. I'm trying to cut back since it's just Brock and I, not cooking for 4, cooking for 2, not cooking for 5, cooking for 2. So I got to get in that frame of mind. So, tomato sauce. Why tomato sauce? Because it's versatile, it's easy, it's inexpensive for the most part, and it has 3 grams of carbohydrates and not as much sugar. So, and this serves 13 this size. I had looked at some at the store. You know, I was at my little small grocery store, and I looked at some spaghetti sauces and marinaras, and I thought, I'll just grab one, it'll be easy. 13 grams of sugar, and I'm like, that's way too much. So they had Rayo's. I hate to say this, I'm not a huge fan, just me personally. So it's just as easy, folks, just as cost effective to make it yourself, and you can control what's in there because this is pureed tomatoes and water, onion powder, garlic powder, and dehydrated bell peppers. Okay, so that's what's in there. You can read all of those ingredients. I'm going to turn this down because I don't know why tomato sauce likes to pop everywhere. So to that, we're going to add some Italian seasoning. This is just a mix. It has sea salt, oregano, parsley, basil, marjoram, and thyme. I got this particular one at Aldi. So I'm going to put that in. And I'm going to grab some garlic. No, I'm not going to add garlic. I just added garlic. I'm going to add some onion powder. And a little bit more oregano. Got that. I'm going to add in. And a little bit of dried parsley. Okay, I'm going to add that into the sauce. Add whatever you feel comfortable with. Teaspoon, tablespoon, whatever. These are what I'm going to add in, and that's up to you. Oh, sorry for that outburst. There's a little gnat flying around, and when I find him, I'm going to throw him outside. Anyway, so we've got these gorgeous tomatoes. I'm going to chunk one up and throw in the sauce. Ooh, that's going to make it delicious. Ooh, there we go. I'm going to add in my ground beef. There we go. Now I'm going to give that a stir. Gorgeous. I'm going to give it a minute and then I'm going to taste it. Well, let's just taste it now. I haven't used a spoon because it didn't fit in the jar of garlic. So let's give it a taste now. See if we need to add anything else. Always taste your food. So good. Ooh, so good, so simple. Fresh, easy, inexpensive ingredients, a delicious salt. Listen, y'all, I'm not Italian. I'm sure there's some meemaws, grandmas out there that's got a whole all-day thing. That's great. But this is what we got. If I had all day, I would love to learn to make a whole all-day sauce. Love it. I love learning all kinds of foods, recipes from everywhere. But, you know, we got things to do today. So we're going to just do this. Now, I've turned it down to low. I am going to let it simmer. We got some fresh tomato in there. We've got some tomato sauce. Maybe you can tomatoes and got some tomato sauce. That'd be beautiful. We got your, you know, if you got some fresh herbs laying around, put those in. It doesn't take a lot of ingredients to make something so delicious. Sometimes I think we tend to think that there has to be 8 million ingredients in something to make it good. I grew up with family who had very few ingredients and everything was delicious. And they, you know, made what they had work, and they made it. Some of the best meals of my life came from my mama and my grandma, who had very few ingredients to work with. Just deliciousness. Not to say that, you know, there are ingredients that take a lot of things, or, you know, a lot of meals that take a lot of ingredients, and that's fine. Just saying, on the everyday, your daily driver, your daily meals can be just as flavorful without a bunch of huss and fuss and cuss. All right, we're gonna let this simmer, and I'm gonna clean up my area here, and we'll be back. So the dishes are done, the meat sauce is simmering. Now it's time to take out our spaghetti squash. It's simple. Fork, we let it rest, and all you do is just that. Take it out with a fork. Got a couple seeds in there I'll have to get. I missed. Get on out of there. Go. I like to make sure I get it all. I scrape the edges of that. So see how that looks if you've never seen spaghetti squash? It looks just like spaghetti. I think it tastes better, actually. Like I said, I'm not a big pasta eater. Go. Get these little seeds out. Some people like to take these and put it back in and serve in the little natural cup. I don't. I'd make a mess. But it's an option, I guess. All right, I like to spread it out a little bit. That. Got another seed. I tried, y'all. All right, the next one, same thing. Then I'm gonna let it sit here for just a couple minutes, and then I'll put it in a bowl and put it in the fridge. And then all we have to do is heat us up some on a plate for dinner and add our meat sauce. That's why I like to cook it a little al dente, since we're gonna heat it back up. See, Brock's not home. I would do this if, you know, Brock was here and we were cooking dinner. He had a doctor's appointment today, so it's an hour and a half drive. So this is why I'm just going ahead and doing this. I don't know what time he'll be home. Sometimes he's there for a while because they get behind. So anyway, I prep this up now, and then that way when he comes home and whenever he wants to eat, we're ready to eat. All right. There we go. It's that simple. It's going to be so good. It's been so long since I've had this. So I don't typically salt it or anything. I just let it as is. You can add a little bit of olive oil if you want to, some seasoning. I leave it as is and then let everybody salt it, do whatever they want to it. Because we've got all these great seasonings in the meat sauce. So I wanted to share with you some other things that you could do with spaghetti squash. Now I have made lasagna with this. In place of the lasagna noodles, I have used the spaghetti squash and layered it with your ricotta or your cottage cheese. I've also made potato casserole with it. Now some people call it funeral potatoes. You know, the one with the cheese and the sour cream and the cream of chicken soup. That was fantastic made with this. Anywhere that you could do Alfredo sauce, so many ways that you can play with this. Maddie just likes to eat it with a little bit of butter, a little bit of salt, a little bit of Parmesan cheese. Perfect side dish like that. Or just like this with some salt and, easy, wonderful, delicious. I love fall squash. I love the butternut squash. I love acorn squash. I love them all. Some of them are higher content of carbohydrates, but I feel like it's not as, it's real food. It's real food. It's not something from a box or processed. Okay, so there you go. This is in the bowl going in the fridge, and I'll let the sauce continue to simmer and stir, and I'll see you at dinner time. It's the best time of the day. It's dinner time. So I have a little bit of salad there that we made together with some homemade ranch. I've got my spaghetti squash. I just warmed it up in the microwave since, dinner had to be a little bit later. Go. And then we've got this fabulous meat sauce back here we made together. I'm also cooking some green beans for tomorrow. Look at that, friends. So this is the only Parmesan I've got, so that's what I'm going to use. Because I like a little Parmesan on top. Go. Fabulous spaghetti dinner without that bloat from the pasta. There it is. Let's give it a try. Today I was looking at Facebook, and you know how the memory pop up, so I was seeing what my memories were, and 1 year ago today I made this, so must be something about this time of year. But it's squash season, so if you've never tried spaghetti squash, I urge you to do it. If you have, this is your reminder to go out and get one and make you some squash spaghetti. So good. Never disappoints. All right, friends, as always, thanks for stopping by, hanging out with me in my kitchen. If you're new here, like and subscribe and hang out with us because we are fun. And we cook some pretty good food together, too. All right, see you tomorrow. Bye, friends.